The Gatemen ended last week tied with Cotuit for second in the West, just 4 points behind division leader Falmouth. Now, Wareham took a tough loss on the 4th, going down 11-6 across the bridge in Bourne. The Gatemen did muscle out a win, though, against powerhouse Orleans, lifted by 2 Daniel Polka home runs. At home, Wareham claimed the first 2 games of the week. Late inning heroics pushed the Gatemen past both Hyannis and Bourne. Down 3-2 going into the 8th against the Harbor Hawks, Kyle Schwarber sparked the Gatemen offense when he was hit by a pitch, interrupting the momentum of Hyannis reliever Jimmy Hodgkin, who struck out the first 2 batters he faced in the inning. Tyler Horan took full advantage of the free base, driving in Schwarber and himself with a 2-run blast over the right field fence to put Wareham up 4-3. Cole Sturgeon moved from center to the mound in the final inning to hold the Gatemen lead. It was Sturgeon's first pitching appearance in 11 games and only his 3rd of the season. Deuces were wild in the game against Bourne Tuesday. After 5 innings of scoreless play, Wareham used small ball to force 2 runs across the plate. Gateman starter Kendall Graveman kept the Braves off the scoreboard until the 7th, when he surrendered a home run and made a costly throwing error checking on a runner that ultimately led to a 2-2 tie. With heavy hitters Daniel Polka and Tyler Horan out of the lineup, the 2 were in Omaha for the College Home Run Derby, Wareham continued to rely on small ball. In the 8th, the Gatemen layered a leadoff walk, a sacrifice bunt, single, RBI fly ball, and a gapper to push 2 more runs across. Closer Colby Suggs, just joining the team after making it to the semifinals of the College World Series with Arkansas, kept the score to 4-2 and earned his first Cape League save. Wareham's struggles against the East, however, continued in its crushing 10-4 loss to YD Thursday. Returning pitcher Barrett Aston had a hard go of it in his first start of the 2012 season. 3 of the first 4 Red Sox singled off Aston to grab a 2-0 lead in the first. Aston lasted just 4 innings, surrendering 5 runs. The Gatemen staged a comeback in the 3rd with Kyle Schwarber's bases-loaded ground out and Tyler Horan's RBI single. Horan tried to stretch the hit to a double and got caught in a pickle between 1st and 2nd. Thinking the defense was distracted, Schwarber tried to sneak home but was caught for out number 3, leaving Wareham in a 5-2 hole. Things got interesting again in the 7th. The Gatemen grabbed 2 runs with 2 outs after Ty McFarland reached on a dropped 3rd strike that pinballed to the backstop. Down 6-4 in the 9th, the Wareham bullpen gave up 4 walks and 2 singles to allow YD to cruise to a 10-4 victory. The loss at home against Cotuit was just as hard to take. Starter Jared Ruxid got out of a few jams in the early innings, including a bases-loaded scare in the 2nd. With the Kettleers up 4-0 in the 8th, the Gatemen finally got a run across on a Claude Johnson RBI double. Polka knocked Johnson home but ended the Wareham run trying to score on a Mott Hyde single. The Gatemen not only lost the game 5-2 but also lost utility infielder Ty McFarland, who broke his finger on a foul tip. And with Wareham in the middle of the pack in the West, head coach Cooper Ferris says to reach their full potential, the players need to focus on routine, routine, routine. Coach, the team was 2-4 last week. We're still only 4 points out of first place in our division. What kind of adjustments, what's the biggest adjustment that the team now has to look to do now that we're about halfway through the season?
Well, we talked to them last night about, self-evaluation, and, we talked to them about being able to compete against, coming to compete every night and preparation, getting their preparation done mentally before the game starts and, pitchers, through the week, doing their routines. And the biggest thing they've got to learn, playing every day, is a routine. Mm-hmm. All the professional players have a routine they go through, and they stick to it. They don't vary from it. And the big thing we've got to do is have a routine and stick to it, and just prepare to compete every night. And we're not making good adjustments right now. I don't know if it's because some of the guys are getting tired. It's a grind, mm-hmm. and it's something they're not used to. Even though they're playing college ball, they play one game early in the week and then 3 games on the weekend, but they have 3 or 4 days there they can, but there's not that 3 or 4 days now. So,
right.
You know, you get one every week and a half or 2 weeks, so it's tough on them.
Oh, sure. So when you're talking about that kind of routine, how do you develop that from a player's perspective? Is that individual to each player?
Well, yeah, a lot of players have their own routines that they go through. You know, if they need help with one, we try to give them one. We've talked to them about it. You know, the biggest thing, you know, they've got to understand is their body's taking a beating, you know, playing every night, and they've got to drink plenty of water and flush their system and, you know, different things, eating right, doing the things they need to do. You know, they don't need to sugar it up too much because it slows their reactions down a little bit. So we've talked to them about, you know, trying to develop those routines and trying to, you know, flush the bad stuff out of their body each day and trying to get ready for the next one.
And do you find that there's kind of a competing notion between wanting to be a really great player, of course, but then also being in a location that's kind of known as a vacation hub and it's summertime?
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, a lot of summer baseball is just summer baseball. This is a totally different atmosphere for them. We try to make them realize that, but some get it, some don't, you know, because you know, some guys can make millions up here, you know, and the big thing is they can be set for the rest of their life by just, you know, the discipline they go through. So, you know, it's tough to, you know, get them to understand that sometimes, and, you know, from playing summer balls in the past, you know, it's not the same thing, and you know, we just want to give them the opportunity to succeed and to thrive and do things, and that's what we try to do with our early outs and other things that we do for them. So, you know, hopefully they're going to figure it out here, hopefully pretty quick. So we need to get on a roll.
And last week you had talked about leaving some flexibility within the roster, signing 27 permanent players out of the 30. Are you looking to make any moves with that?
Well, yeah, we're going to probably make a couple here in the next week or two. We thought we had one, but he's now the negotiations are back on. He was drafted pretty high, and he was coming actually last Saturday, and the negotiations, they called. He had his flight and everything. They called that morning his agent and told him not to come, his advisor, and told him not to come, and so.
That morning?
Yeah, the morning of the flight. So anyway, they've got till the 13th to get it done. If they don't get it done, then that could be another one. So yeah, we've got 3 or 4 moves we can make. We just haven't made them yet. One of them won't be till after Team USA is over with, so, and that'll be in a couple of weeks. So, you know, hopefully we'll get some guys in there to make that stretch run that we need to make. But we've got the nucleus to get it done now, and we just got to get some guys to step up and do their part. So that's basically, you know, where we're at right now.
Kyle Schwarber joins me now, and Kyle, you just finished your freshman year at Indiana, and you moved from the outfield to the catcher spot when you guys lost your catcher. Now you're in the outfield here for Wareham, and I know you've said that that's given you time to concentrate on your hitting. Is that the goal of being here? What are you hoping to accomplish here?
I mean, I'm trying to accomplish just getting better as an overall player. I mean, trying to get some more experience out in the outfield, and still polishing up on some hitting spots I still have, and then obviously getting a little work behind the plate still. So I mean, it's a great experience being out here, and that's what I'm trying to, you know, critique a little bit.
And I understand that your mentality at the plate is kind of in sync with Yogi Berra's. It's all 90% mental in baseball. Can you kind of expand on that a little bit?
I mean, when you're going up to the plate, I mean, you got to think, hey, this pitcher can't beat me with any pitch that he has, and you know, you're just going to tear the cover off the ball. I mean, that's what your approach is. I mean, so going up to the plate, you got to have yourself a nice little approach, and know what you're going to do with the ball. So I mean, I think that's the 90% of the mental attitude there.
Yeah, I can see that. And your dad was just visiting you. What did you guys end up doing? Is it his first time out to the Cape?
It was his first time out to the Cape. What did he do first? First night we went out for a nice little steak dinner. Yummy. And then he went to the Yankees game, Boston game.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the
Boston game.
Boston game as a Boston fan. Sorry, camera. And but he got to go experience Fenway Park for the first time, and that was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't get to go with him. I already experienced one game, and it's still an awesome park. And then we got to go on a deep sea fishing trip yesterday before we got to go back home. So I mean, that was pretty fun too. Just spend a little bit of time with them before we got to leave.
Yeah, no kidding. So when you first got here, this kind of blew my mind. So like I said, you just finished your freshman year. It's your first year in Wareham. But even before you guys had the preseason game, you're kind of the leader of the pack a little bit with the skit. Oh, you look confused. See, to me, this is no-brainer. You seemed like you got everyone motivated. You started singing at the dinner. Do you not see yourself that way?
I mean, I had a little prior experience to that. I was in show choir in high school, so I get a little dance and sing moving. Yeah.
Like what? Show me what you got.
I can't right now. You have to look at the old tapes. Look on YouTube. You'll see me.
You know we will.
I know. That's the bad part. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of this laid-back kind of guy and willing to do anything for just to help out the team, you know. So I mean, if I had to help it out, I mean, I'd do it. It's pretty fun though.
And we thank you, because it was very interesting. I'm here with Ethan Gross, who is one of 4 Memphis Tigers on the Cape this season. You are the only one who's a Gateman, though everyone else is in Brewster. Right. How do you feel about that?
It doesn't really bother me. I like my teammates here, and I get along with them pretty well, so it works out.
Yeah. Is it strange playing against them?
Actually, the second game of the season, both of them pitched against our team here at Wareham, so it was a little different, but it's kind of like an inter squad, I guess.
Okay, so not too unfamiliar for you.
Yeah, right.
Now, you play middle infield for us. You're very well known for your incredible defensive skills.
Right.
So thank you for bringing them to us. Do you notice that there's a difference playing second and short because you've played both?
I've always grown up playing shortstop, so it's a little different playing second, but second doesn't bother me at all. It's kind of somewhat similar, but it's not really a big difference for me.
Okay. Do you find there's more athleticism, a lot more diving on the shortstop side of it? Is that what you like about it?
I don't know. I think it's a little more challenging because it's farther from first. You have to make like longer throws, and you're kind of like in the middle of the defense. You got to know everything that's going on with pickoffs and who's got bad coverage and stuff like that.
So did you find it all? I know you played basketball when you were in high school. Did you find that mentality carried over to the baseball field?
Yeah, I think I've always been told that if you play a different sport or you're playing more than one sport, it kind of helps your athleticism overall. I think playing basketball kind of helps me defensive-wise because you're playing low in basketball and you're guarding someone. It's kind of similar in baseball. It's just you're not guarding anyone. You're kind of just waiting for the ball to be hit and reading hops and stuff like that.
Right. Well, see, I got really excited that you were a basketball fan because I, too, am a basketball fan. Then I started following you on Twitter. And being from Boston and being a little heartbroken with the recent Celtics loss, I noticed that you're a Miami Heat fan.
I am.
Should I hold you responsible for stealing Ray Allen away from us?
I mean, I was pretty happy, actually, that he came here, a couple days ago? A week ago? Yeah, I was pretty excited, so make him a little better even. So.
How did you become a Heat fan if you're from Tennessee?
I've always liked LeBron James, even whenever he was in high school. And then I've kind of had, like, whenever the Heat won it with, whenever Dwayne Wade and Shaquille O'Neal were together, I kind of liked Dwayne Wade and I've kind of followed him. And then when LeBron decided to go to Miami, it just became a complete Miami Heat fan. So even before they won it, everybody says bandwagon, they won it this year. But I was a fan last year, too.
Okay, I guess I can forget.
In the minor league system for the New York Yankees. So they send an order in and it has the player's name. It'll have the quantity of bats, the player with the name, ash or maple, the two predominant types of wood used to make a bat, the model number, whether it's cupped or not cupped, the length and the weight of the bat, the color, and then the name on the bat.
Now, how long have you been making bats for?
Probably 7 years now.
There are still members of even the Gatemen team who use you.
We got guys from all over the country. Once they go back to where they are, now they start to use our bat and they call me up and they say, Louie, remember that bat you made for me down the Cape? I really love that. And one of the beauties of this machine that we make the bats on is it's a CNC lathe.
Okay.
That stands for computer numerically controlled. We can make the slightest changes on a bat to accommodate a player. We customize bats for a lot of different guys, so it fits their specific needs and they get exactly what they want, because that is their weapon. Whenever at the plate, that's what they get success with, is that bat. So they want it exactly right, the right weight, the right feel, everything, the right wood, the whole 9 yards. I've been working with wood my whole life, so I knew wood. I played sports, played baseball till I was 40, so it was like the love of the game plus the love of wood was a perfect match for me to get into making baseball bats. So that's how it started. So the wood, we get our wood from New York, and it comes in this form in the billets, and we weigh all of the billets because each model takes a different weight billet.
So what kind of wood are you using?
We use mostly maple and ash.
Why is that?
That's the wood that's out there that they've found that has the right hardness.
Okay, so it holds up.
It holds up. When you're done milling it, it has the right weight. And it has all the properties that make a good baseball bat. This is what Tom Gay, the owner of the Wareham Gatemen, has ordered. 6 110 33-inch bats and 4 33.5-inch 110 bats and other bats, but we're gonna show you these right here. My father always told me to pay attention in math in school because this is operated on the XY axis, and I said, who the heck is ever going to use that in their life, right? Well, at 56 years old, I'm using it.
They always know.
They always know. Listen to Father. Father knows best. So if I were to take, let's say, Carl Crawford's bat, okay?
Carl Crawford.
And I wanted to change his bat. This is something I designed specifically for him. So let's say I wanted to change that handle. I could take this, click on this. I could move it here like this. And if a player desired to have that look instead of the other look, and I could take this right here, move that in a little bit, and then we just smooth it all out with this right here. Take this and we go like this. Now I've just created a whole different model.
Wow.
And it's that easy. And that would be a customization for a certain player. If you look in here, especially with David Ortiz, because I worked with him for several years, and there's so many times that he changed the bat. So if we go back into pro players,
Wow, look at that.
you'll see David Ortiz, 2010 model, 2011 model. David Ortiz modified with that Emilio Bonifacio. David was in a little bit of a slump, so I said, let me just try some different styles for you. So I put a Bonifacio handle on it. David Ortiz with Miguel Cabrera with his type of handle. And if you go back this way, you can see this all original. It's got small, it's got all different, you can see all the different. So every time, the beauty of this machine is every time I make a change for a player, I can save that change. I never get rid of it. That way when he comes back, he may come back to me in a year, 2 years from now and say, you know what, Louie, I like that model you made for me in 2010. Let's go back to that. So I can, it's there, it'll never go away. And this thing cuts to within 3/1000ths of an inch for accuracy.
Wow.
Which is the beauty part of a CNC lathe versus another type of lathe, which is called a tracer lathe.
So he'd be getting the same bat.
Exactly the same bat within 3/1000ths of an inch, and it'd probably feel like a, you know, when you ride your bike, you always go back, you can always ride that bike, kind of the same idea. It's called homing it. So what it does is it knows, the machine knows where it's starting from.
Okay.
So with the XY axis, you have to start from 0, and then all the math is done, all the program knows where to go from there.
A bat that's actually going to be used by the Gatemen.
Oh yeah, this is a 33-inch ash 110, model 110, 33 inches, and there'll be 30 ounces in length when it's done, once it's done with the finishing process. So there's 2 knives that cut. One, the knife that's moving first, the first knife in the line of order here.
Okay.
That's the rough knife.
That's a knife.
A cutting knife, yep. And what that does is it takes out most of the material to within 4 millimeters of the actual cut of the bat.
Wow.
The other knife that's the last one is the finish knife, and that cleans it up and gives you exact specifications.
Wow.
And you can see how the handle's already being formed.
Holy cow, yeah. How long does it usually take for a bat to be
We're going to show you that. Probably, my guess, this bat would be about a minute, minute 45 seconds.
Wow.
More or less.
Wow. And did you
Yes. Yep. We'll get an order, and if this machine can cut, you can just set it at 1,000 bats, and if you continue to feed that hopper back there, it'll just keep cutting.
Wow.
That's what we do with the Pawtucket bat. So when we set up an order, we'll take that, like that Yankee order that I showed you.
Yep.
We'll get the right weights, load them in the hopper. There's 12 bats, set the machine to cut 12 of his model, and pretty much you can walk away and do other things while this thing cuts the bats.
Wow.
Now it'll spit it out, as we say. So we inspect the bat, make sure it's good quality.
What are you looking for when you're doing a quality?
We're looking for the straightness of the grain
Okay.
and no defects on bats like here. For example, sometimes when you turn a bat, you don't always know that that's inside the billet.
Oh.
So that'll be a defect. So we'll take these and we'll paint them up and we'll use them for trophy bats.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we utilize all of our wood. So that will go in the trophy pile right here. So our standards, our quality, our QA is really high here. As you can see, we get a lot of rejected bats. And then we take and look at it, make sure it's nice and straight, which it is. There's no defects. And then we'll put it in the sander. Now as they come out of the lathe, we let them build up and then we put them through the sander. And this works a lot faster than the lathe does.
Really?
Yeah.
So you can put multiple bats, one on each of those.
That holds about 18 bats.
Now what's that piece in the back? It looks kind of like baleen from a whale or something.
That's actually bamboo.
Oh.
And what that does is allow the sandpaper to have some flexibility to go with the contour of the bat. So that sandpaper is put on there, and then now all of the as you can see it coming around right now, see how it's got some give to it? It allows it to get in all the little nooks and crannies to sand it properly. Now if you noticed, we did our homework before we started our company. Most companies will either put a staple in the end of the bat when it's cut like this. Okay, they'll put a staple here, or they'll have these metal prongs that they put here.
Okay.
We designed this to stay in with the production of the bat. This will follow this bat all the way through the production. Because the bat will be completely finished and people will say, how come the ends are still on?
Yeah.
We'll show you, okay?
Okay.
And what that does is it allows us to have this completely defect-free. A lot of the bats will have these 2 imperfections on the knob. And that's, to us, the most important place because that's where the player wraps his finger around.
Right.
And he wants to feel comfortable. He doesn't want to feel any imperfections. So we leave these on here and you'll see how it works as we go through the process. So that's a proprietary finish that we developed here at the factory. And as you can see, through the whole finishing process, the ends are still on here.
Right.
You still have the end of the bat here and here, okay? So now that it's ready to be trimmed, and you can see how straight that grain is, it's really a beautiful piece of wood. This is one of our most popular models right here, or finishes, I should say. We offer 3 finishes for Axis. It's a black, a walnut, and this color here.
Wow.
So I can take you over here and show you how we trim the ends, but we trim the ends off with the saw. But now you have an unfinished end and an unfinished end. John's going to show you what we do. We cup this end for weight, with most bats are cupped. And then we're the only company that does this. We scoop this out and we put the length and the weight in that little cup that we have. This bat is a 32-inch bat, I'm sorry. John's going to weigh that. It's 31.5. He's going to cup the end of it. Okay. And he'll flip it over. So now we have a bat, and we always look for a drop too. It's called length to weight ratio. You want the weight of the bat to be at least 2 ounces less than the length of the bat. It's just about right, 32.30.
Wow.
And you can see all the racks. We developed all these racks, and all of the poly, we recapture all of the poly. so we don't waste any, because we were spending a fortune.
Kidding.
Oh yeah, we recycle all of the poly. So all the poly,
Brilliant.
all the poly comes down, the paint comes down, we recycle it, we screen it, and use it again. The sweet spot is usually about 5 inches from the end of the bat, but when you take this weight out of here, what you're doing is transferring that balance point a little further down the bat. So the further down the bat you get. In the old days, they used to have really thick handles and thinner barrels, and the weights were like 37, 40-ounce bats. Dick Allen used to from the, I think it was with the White Sox. And the reason that was okay and it felt okay was because the weight, there was a lot of weight down in the handle, so when you picked it up and felt it, it didn't feel like 40 ounces. Today's player wants very thin handles with big barrels. And what that does, they call it an end-loaded bat. So now it feels heavy on the end,
Okay.
and you don't feel that same balance. So we try to teach them that that's not always the best thing to hit a baseball with. The higher density of the wood, the more pop you're going to get. So you got to use a thinner barrel bat, so you can use a heavier build to start with. And I think one of the big things that's important with us is that we can service the player when they get to the major leagues. A lot of companies, there's bat companies out there, but they're not major league certified.
Okay.
And what that means is they're allowed to make bats and sell bats at the retail level, but they're not allowed to sell bats to Major League Baseball. So there's use expense involved with that. There's a whole set of criteria that we have to follow, and we're monitored on that criteria as to how we make the bats. So we can service the guys that leave the Cape Cod League and go on to Major League Baseball, where other companies might be able to service them at the Cape Cod League, but not be able to service them once they leave. So we can carry that right after.
Lou's not the only one who hopes to follow the Gatemen players from the Cape League to the big leagues. In case you missed it, we leave you with some shots of the Fandemonium from this season's first autograph night. See you next week.